Town crier, tell us, how was Nigeria sold for £865,000? Pay attention. I am not just going to teach you how your country, Nigeria, was sold for £865,000. I am going to open your eyes so you can see that did not only happen in your country, Nigeria, it also happened in East Africa and in South Africa. Let me give you perspective. But now, you must gather your compound people because the voice of Akebulan, the voice of a continent, is about to teach. Pay scrupulous attention. I'm about to give you a linchpin information. The voice is about to speak. Pay attention. Whenever I say South Africa in this study, don't think I'm talking about a country. Because as long as I'm concerned, there is no country called South Africa. South Africa is the name of a region. If the name of your country is South Africa, you better go and find a name. Because South Africa is the name of a region. If you want to deceive yourself and say that South Africa is the name of a country, Southern Africa is the name of a region, you have gone bananas. Because you will tell me the difference between South and Southern. Something is wrong with you. Let's get started. Akebulan. You see, in the year 1800, something happened. But before then, let us go to what actually happened. In the year 1879, a British businessman called George Goldie established a company. He called that company United African Company. And this was in West Africa. In West Africa, this was in the territory, in the geographical location that you know today as Nigeria. At that point, there was no such thing as Nigeria. But this man established this company. Then in the year 1881, he changed the name of that company from United African Company to National African Company. Now the question is, why did he change the name? He's looking for something. He's looking for something. What is it that he's looking for? Authority, power. But yet that name could not give him that power. So what happened? He needed a royal charter. What is a royal charter? Pay attention, I will tell you. But then in the year 1886, George Goldie was given a royal charter. By who? By the then Queen of England. That is Queen Victoria. What is a royal charter? A royal charter simply means an official document issued by the British monarch, issued to a person, to a company, to an institution, giving him legal power to do whatever he wants to do in any geographical location on behalf of the British monarch. So when this royal charter was given to him in 1886, the name of that company changed from National African Company to Niger Royal Company. They called it Royal Niger Company. Why Royal? Because now a charter has been given to him. So this charter enabled him to govern that territory on behalf of the British authority. It gave him the right to collect taxes and duties from the locals of that geographical location. Gave him the right to use force on the people. Gave him the right to organize and force treaties on behalf of the British monarch. Now ask the question, how come such a right is given from a woman who never stepped into a geographical location? She never stepped into that region, but yet she gave such a power to someone. Pay attention. George Goldie now had so much power because before then he could not do that. Why? Because there were people like Injaja in that area, people like Oba Mbaisi in that area, people like Chief Nana Orumo in that area. But with this power given to him in 1886, he could do undo. What happened? The next year, being 1887, King Jaja of Opobo was arrested, sent into exile because he was the one blocking him from excelling. Chief Nana Orumo, the same thing. Oba Mbaisi, the same thing. Pay attention. That was not the end. In the year 1899, the people that gave him the royal charter now came and said, now we want to buy this company from you. This Royal Niger Company, we want to buy it. And so they paid for it. They paid £865,000. It became official in 1st January 1900. That was when they purchased the company. Now, what did they buy? Did they buy Nigeria? Because your argument will be that Nigeria never existed until 1914. That is your argument, and that is true. But you need to understand that Nigeria, it goes beyond just a name. And Nigerians did not fall from the sky. That the people that constitute what you know today as Nigeria had always been existing in this geopolitical space. So they purchased the administrative trading right of what became as Nigeria in 1914. Now we Pan-Africans, we argue and say, no, you cannot purchase Nigeria because Nigeria was not a colony until 1914. If that is your argument, you are right. But in the mind of the colonialist, in the mind of the imperialist, in the mind of the neo-colonialist, they treat you today as people that were purchased, people that they paid for. How do you know? Because look at your leaders. Your leaders are behaving like people that were purchased, people that were bought. That is why something can be happening in your country, but your leaders will avoid it and travel to Britain to pay homage to the monarch. That is why in your election, they must go to Chatham House. Why? They need to go and collect permission to rule you by the person that purchased the country. So you are the tenant. Your leaders are caretakers. The British monarch are the landlords, even after your so-called independence. So Nigeria was bought for £865,000, 1st January 1900. Mind you, when this was happening, Lagos was already a colony, because Lagos became a colony in 1861 because it was bombarded in 1851. 1851 bombardment, 1861 it became a colony. And now in 1900, 1st January, Nigeria was bought for £865,000. When we say it was bought, we meant that the administrative trading right of that company was bought. But if you think that this is only a Nigerian problem, let me take you to East Africa. In East Africa, there was a company called the Imperial British East African Company. Who founded that company? William Magnon. They called him sir, but I will not put sir. It's not my sir. You can put it if you want. And so in the year 1888, he created that company, Imperial British East African Company. That was in the month of April 16th, 1888. Now, probe me carefully. He was given a royal charter that same year, but on the 6th of September. Who gave him the royal charter? The same queen that gave George Gordy a royal charter in Nigeria, in West Africa, 1886. 2 years later, now gave this one a royal charter in 1888. To do the same thing that George Gordy is doing in West Africa, to do it in East Africa. Have you seen that the same thing that they did here, they are doing there? The same fate, the same thing. Royal charter, royal charter. Now the question you should ask, why were they given this royal charter? Why were they in a hurry to do that? Pay attention. This was in 1888. Nigerians' own were in 1886. What happened in the 1885? That was the Berlin Conference. The scramble for Africa, the partition for Africa was when 15 November 1884 ended on the 25th of February 1885. So the conference to share Africa ended on the 25th of February 1885. Now in 1886, they have given a royal charter to take control of Nigeria. And then 2 years later, they did the same in East Africa, specifically in Kenya and Uganda. Because they wanted to compete with Germany. Germany also wanted a share in East Africa. So they wanted to compete. It did not end there. If you go in the month of October, that same 1888, in the place you know today as Zambia and Zimbabwe, there was a company. There was a company created by who? By Cecil John Rhodes. He formed the company. What was the name of that company? The name of that company was British South African Company. It was in the month of October 1888 that they founded the company. Do you see that the name of the country you are claiming to be the name of your country, South Africa, was first a name of a company? British South African Company in the year 1888. At that point, the place you know today as South Africa as a country was not having that name. The name South Africa came into existence on the 31st of May 1910. And that is when they amalgamated the different provinces and called it South Africa, the region of South Africa. But this company existed before that name. Do you see that the name that you answered as your country came first as the name of a company? But then, in the year 1881, it was given a royal charter. Do you see how they are giving royal charters? Remember what a royal charter means. An official document issued by the British monarch, that is the crown. Who does the crown represent? Queen Victoria. To do what? To have a legal power to do whatever you want to do in a geographical location that is not yours. And so, in the year 1895, what did they do? They named the place Rhodesia after the name of John Cecil Rhodes. That is why Zambia was called Northern Rhodesia. Zimbabwe was called Southern Rhodesia after the name of the man that founded that company. Which company? British South African Company. Until the year 1980, when they regained their independence and called it what? Zimbabwe, a name gotten from the Shona language, meaning what? The house of the stone, gotten from the wall of great Zimbabwe. Have you seen that what happened in West Africa, happened in East Africa, happened in South Africa? The one you call as a country is a Southern Africa. There's no difference between South Africa and Southern Africa. It's the same thing. Stop deceiving yourself. It's just like we in Ghana saying that we are now West Africa and the continent is Western Africa. Does that make sense? ERN is the difference. You have gone bananas. You have gone bananas. Your ability to reconcile these dates and bring them together makes you a historical guru, because it gives you insight into perspective to what happened in our great continent. Let me give you something that you need to understand. Before British as a colony would take over your land, they first send a company to go and do their dirty work. After the company has done the dirty work, they will now come and claim the land. It happened in Nigeria. It happened in East Africa. It happened in West Africa. It happened in Southern Africa. So it happened in other parts of Africa. On a good day, I'll give you good insight. So if all these things could happen to us in space of 2 years intervals, it tells you that our destiny are intertwined. And for us to liberate ourselves, we must collectively liberate ourselves from these shackles of mental slavery, because independence is nothing if we are not free. Because our leaders are behaving like puppets, and they are puppets, behaving like children of a lesser God. It is us, the young Africans, that must understand these things and help pull ourselves from that grip of neo-colonialism, which Kwame Nkrumah called the last stage of imperialism. Akebolan. It is more than eyes can see. It is more. Your countries were sold. But we will not take that, because we are not involved in that transaction. The owner of the house has waken up. The giant is awake, and we are taking what is ours collectively. That is why we must come together. That's why you will not be chasing fellow Africans away from your country. You can never do it alone. The chain holding us is holding us tight. But the continent must rise as one collective big family for us to be free. Make sure you are following me on YouTube, Modern Day Town Crier, because in coming days, more things will be revealed, and only those who are there will have insight to that perspective. Right here on my Facebook, subscribe to my exclusive videos so we can have a little fund, okay, to support what we are doing. Do you understand? Let that be your way of supporting. And if you don't have books to read, message me, okay? I will give you book. Do you understand? Message me, I will give you book. You read and understand. And then I will teach you how to have insight into reality. That one book cannot give you is wisdom from above. Akebolan, the voice of the continent has spoken. The voice. Mind you, this week, Saturday, I'll be coming live. So you can ask me personal questions and I will answer you. Because I've gotten this code from the secret places of the ancestors. Akebolan, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I want to see you there. And make sure you follow my backup page, because some ragamuffins are trying to bring us down, but they can't. Follow my backup page, I will tag it. And make sure you comment. Share this video. Let the entire continent get the message of the ancestors. Akebulan, wisdom. Wisdom, Akebulan. Wisdom. Now what? Wisdom is the principal thing.